Hello, good evening. A 14-year-old boy who pretended to be dead to save himself from the Taliban when they attacked his school in Pakistan is recovering in hospital in Birmingham. His brother was among 141 children and teachers who were killed in the same attack. His father, Mohammed Nawaz, told ITV News Central that although Ahmed saw his friends being killed, he's in good spirits and determined to fulfill his dreams. Rajiv Popat reports.
Mohammed Nawaz now lives in Birmingham with his wife and youngest son Umar. They used to live in Pakistan, where Umar's best friends were his brothers, 13-year-old Haris and 14-year-old Ahmed. But their lives changed forever when Taliban gunmen stormed a school in Peshawar and killed 141 children and teachers. The brothers were in school at the time. Haris died. Ahmed was seriously injured.
You cannot feel the pain. Without Haris, our life is incomplete, and we are incomplete without Haris.
Ahmed, who was shot in the arm, was initially treated by doctors in Pakistan. They told his parents his injuries were so severe his arm would be amputated. The Pakistani government paid for him to be flown to Birmingham, where he's undergone several operations to save his arm at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital.
Ahmed said that we all of the students, we lay down on the ground. So the terrorists went to row by row and hit it one by one through their heads.
Mr. Nawaz said although his son witnessed horrific scenes, he's coping remarkably well and determined to fulfill his dreams.
Ahmed is very encouraged. He is not discouraged after this incident, and he is very hopeful that he will continue his education.
In Pakistan, various politicians, including former cricketer Imran Khan, visited Ahmed in hospital. And here in Birmingham, his family are being supported by members of the Pakistani community. Hundreds of people are expected to attend an event in the city on Saturday evening to remember all of the victims of the school massacre. Rajiv Popat, ITV News, Birmingham.
The mother of a Coventry University student who has been missing for a month says she's sure her son is alive after travelling from Nigeria to appeal for the public's help in finding him. Ozzy Akarela was last seen after a night out at the end of January. Callum Watkinson reports.
Using CCTV, police have pieced together much of Ozzy Akarela's journey after he left a nightclub in Coventry on January the 31st. It's a journey that took him at least 3.5 hours. In sub-zero temperatures, it is said, would have been completely alien to the 24-year-old from Nigeria. Now his mother has made a journey of her own, travelling 4,000 miles to appeal to the public for help in finding the eldest of her sons.
I'm very worried. I'm scared. I can't face my children. I can't tell them that they can't find their brother. The baby of the family does not even know he's missing. I didn't tell him because he would feel so bad.
The police investigation has focused on an area along Foles Hill Road. Here they believe Ozzy tries, unsuccessfully, to secure a taxi ride home. Police believe that conversation took place at around 7 o'clock. About 50 minutes later, and about a mile further along Foles Hill Road, Ozzy had another conversation with the driver after almost stepping into the path of a moving car. That's an encounter that detectives are sure that driver must remember.
He has made his way into the carriageway to the point where a passing motorist has actually stopped, put their hazard lights on.
I believe Ozzy is still alive. I'm holding on to that hope. He's alive. Just assist me in looking for him is what I beg.
She says that hope is now all she has. Hope that she is staking on help from a stranger. Callum Watkinson, ITV News, Coventry.
A man's been arrested on suspicion of attempted murder after a woman fell from a block of flats in Walsall. The emergency services were called to Wood House on West Bromwich Street at 8:30 this morning. The woman, who police say is in her 20s, was taken to hospital by air ambulance with serious injuries. A teenager has been arrested on suspicion of attempted murder after a man was stabbed in the head on his doorstep in Dudley. The 65-year-old was attacked on Tuesday evening in Owen Street. A 17-year-old boy was arrested in Netherton and is being questioned. Images of two men wanted in connection with a suspected card cloning scam in Birmingham have been released by police. Detectives believe up to 46 fuel cards were cloned at a petrol station in Hales Owen by a rogue cashier. They were then passed on to criminals who filled up using the fake cards. Right, on to sport now, and Telford Tigers Ice Hockey Club is on the verge of winning the league title for only the second time in its history and for the first time in nearly 3 decades. It's all the more remarkable as the Tigers almost went out of business just 2 years ago. Our sport correspondent Steve Clamp reports.
Final preparations for an historic weekend. Telford Tigers need 1 point from the weekend's 2 games to win just the second league title in the club's history. And yet just 2 years ago, Telford Tigers were on a run of more than 20 defeats in a row and were in danger of going out of business.
I came to Telford 5 years ago as a player coach, playing for a trust-owned team. We were low budget. We relied heavily on developing young players. And then recently, 18 months ago, that Red Touch Media came involved, took over the club with Wayne Scholes as the owner. And the turnaround in that time has been huge.
And that success has allowed them to attract the best players, including the league's leading scorer, Peter Zabel.
Yeah, it's a great feeling, you know, but I take the win, you know, first, then the points. And I'm just happy, like I said, that I can help with my points, with my scoring, you know, to the team, and just happy that we are, you know, first in the standings.
Another high-profile player is Rick Plant. He was born in Telford, but his talent meant he was soon playing for bigger teams elsewhere. But now he's back, attracted by the club's newfound ambition and the chance to work with a new generation of players.
When I first got here, I think there was maybe 7 or 8 under 10 players. We've already managed to bump that up to, like, I think it's 22 to 25 players now, so we're getting a lot of interest through the success of the senior team. We're getting more and more people showing interest in hockey in the town, which is kind of the reason I came home.
Gives it to Silverthorne, walks in, shoots and scores!
This most recent win at home came against Manchester. They were last year's league winners. And for the first time since the club's heyday, more than 1,000 fans cheered the Tigers on. Tomorrow night they travel to face Peterborough Phantoms before the visit of Basingstoke Bison on Sunday. 1 point from either game will secure the English Premier League title. Manage that, and the club will have a strong argument for being accepted into ice hockey's top tier, the Elite League, and that would be for the very first time in their history.
Ah, brilliant. Steve Clamp reporting from Telford. Right, finally tonight, the question which has gripped social media today. This picture. Now, what colour is the dress? It's designed by Michelle Batstock from Erdington, and it sparked debate around the world. Everyone from Justin Bieber to David Cameron has got involved. Is it black and blue, or I can't see this, but white and gold? Well, look, this is the answer here we're showing you now. If you answered it's black and blue, you're right. And it's apparently what colour we see in the photo is all down to how our brains interpret the light surrounding the object. So now you know. And here is what the designer had to say about all the excitement.
It's some tricks that the computer is playing in all of us. So it's just crazy. Our internet guy manager started receiving crazy amount of tweets this morning. He called Peter, our director, and said we need to meet at work. This is 5 o'clock in the morning because all the tweets, everything is going crazy.
And it went crazy in the newsroom as well, hours of debate. More on that on our website. Time now for the weather forecast.
What's in store for today? ITV Local Weather, sponsored by Centre Parks.
Hello, the weekend's looking very unsettled, wet and windy at times, with a few brighter spells mixed in too. But for tonight, very cloudy, seeing some patchy rain, and we're looking at lows of around 2 Celsius. Mist forming, and that will be very slow to clear on Saturday morning, even when it does. Very cloudy and dull behind it, patchy rain, quite windy, and in fact, it will become increasingly wet and windy as we go through Saturday afternoon. We're looking at highs of around 9 Celsius. As we go into Sunday, that's when the brightness does begin to creep in, but for tonight, it's very cloudy with patchy rain, lows of 2. Good night.
ITV Local Weather, sponsored by Centre Parks.
Well, that's it for tonight. Don't forget to check out our website to get live news updates from across the Central region. The address is on the screen for you now, itv.com/central. But for now, from all the team here, good night.